Hey y'all, welcome to another edition of Vegas BadBoyz of Podcasting. I'm DJ Impact. I got Simon Street, Sin City Steve, Matt Michaels with you, and welcome everybody to Wrestling Talk. We welcome you to join us in the conversation. If you're watching us on Twitch or Facebook Live, YouTube, make sure you put all of your comments into the chat box and we'll try to get it in as we see fit. So again, welcome to the show, and let's get right to it. We always start off with the four-way stop. All right, Sin City Steve, tell us what you got for wrestling this past week.
All right, the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Well, they're both full in full swing, I guess. First up, CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. 4 happened on Collision. I'm guessing about 500,000 people around the world saw that. Unfortunately, that's another topic for another day. This match had a pretty steady build. CM Punk ended up picking up the win after, hitting Samoa Joe with, as Simon Miller would say, the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. And, got the win to move on in the tournament. It was a good match. I really do wish that we would have gotten the match sooner. Like maybe by a couple of years, but nonetheless, it was still entertaining. TK's purchase of the ROH tape library really got put to work here because they showed video packages throughout Collision leading up to the match. And I really hope that they do that more frequently with their main event matches. After the match, Joe put his hand out and offered a handshake. Punk shook it, and then Joe locked him in the coquina clutch and, put him to sleep. So got to get that heat back somehow. CM Punk's gonna go on to face Ricky Starks, who defeated Powerhouse Hobbs in Collision's opener. The match had a good pace to it until QT Marshall got up on the apron. Hobbs drops Starks with the spine buster. QT is up on the apron while Hobbs has the visual pinfall. QT's continuing to distract Aubrey Edwards. And Hobbs actually goes up, gets into QT's face. Starks knocks Hobbs into QT before spearing him and picking up the win. I can only fucking hope that this gets Hobbs out of QTV.
We'll see. Simon Street, what you got, man?
Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and start mine off with the Monday Night Raw. Baszler basically letting us know why she did what she did. And man, we talked about it on the show, guys. Were we going to get them checks from WWE, or was just maybe the obvious choice? But I appreciate her going no holds bar on, borderline of the truth of, how Baszler loves this and Ronda does not. She just kind of Mayweather with it. I said Mayweather, going back to that one again. And she's not very passionate about it. Really good. I think it's really good mix of it. This definitely makes, Baszler more of a face, which I don't really agree with, But, if it's going to work, it's going to work. If it's going to see a great match between her and Ronda, I think that's going to be excellent. Another good match, too, was on SmackDown. Edge versus Waller. Really, really, really good match. And again, Waller is somebody who is going to make the most of his opportunities. He's definitely going to be that guy that, will he hold tons of glorious, esteemed belts? Probably not. But he definitely is a step above a Dolph Ziggler. And that's just my opinion. Somebody that you can put him in a match with anybody. He's super athletic, talks pretty good. He's your good fit in the blank type of guy, and that's the way I see him. So that's one thing. And then the next thing that I would say is NXT, Creed Brothers, out of NXT, which made me exactly the happiest man on earth, because that means they're moving up to the main roster. Will they be on Raw? Will they be on SmackDown? I gives 2 shits because they're fucking awesome. Unfortunately, a little bit is not going to be coming with them. So that's my 4-way stop.
No doubt. Matt Michaels, man, what you got?
Oh, well, got to go into the Judgment Day, having 2 really pretty good matches. Priest versus Shinsuke was pretty nice. Good to see. Really, really, really just shows how well Priest is working right now. And of course, Shinsuke, makes people look good. So it's just good matchup there. And then having Dom versus Seth was amazing for Dom. It's like this guy should not be getting matches with Seth Rollins at this point in his career. Think about where Cody Rhodes was when he was 2 years in. He was, dashing Cody Rhodes, I think, within the next year or two. Okay. So this has been spectacular to see this character growth. Pretty sweet. And the whole teasing of the stress in the group has been nice to see, because of the fact that, we're obviously hinting towards something happening. And, do they kick Finn out? What happens with it? It's going to be interesting to see all that. I also enjoyed how they did Cody and Brock. I think that was just spectacularly fun because it was just a straight on brawl you didn't expect to see.
Yeah.
In the middle of a segment where it wasn't, it wouldn't be, right? It wasn't just this guy calling out that guy, whatever. It just fucking happened. And it was a good setup, moving that to what's going to be the blow off, and I would assume it'd be SummerSlam. So pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Good stuff there. Let's see what's going on with the Too Sweet for the week. All right, Simon Street, I know you've had some good Too Sweet moments. What you got? Oh, you're on mute.
My bad. All right, so I'm learning how to mute myself before you do it. So, Too Sweet for the week for me was definitely the Ali versus Tyler Bate on NXT. Really, really good match. And the only reason I'm going to say that is because a lot of people slept on Tyler Bate. I think a lot of people have. A lot of people forget how good is he. And the big question that kind of happened a while back, when he was part of the Team Mustache Mountain, was what would he be like singles career? Obviously, other than him holding the title when he was in NXT UK, you're starting to see it now. Like, really solid match. And Ali, say what you want about him, he is somebody that knows his way around the ropes. He really does. And for you to match him 1-for-1 leads me to believe, okay, if I'm thinking maybe a little ahead of myself, what does he look like on the main roster? He's a perfect person that you need to do matches with Ricochet, do matches with, some of the other more athletic mid-sized guys, right? Do a really good job. But he also has this incredible, crazy strength. So that's like my Too Sweet for the week for that one. And then the next one that I'm surprised y'all haven't talked about it too much, and I know we will a little bit. This continuing saga of the Tribal Chief. I know it. I gotta say it. I'm sorry, guys. That shit was great. To the point to where I will say this is probably the most compelling storyline I've ever seen in WWE ever. Maybe next to probably Macho Man Randy Savage and Elizabeth saga. And at the end, he's like, Elizabeth. But other than that, this is compelling, guys. This is compelling.
Was that a Fred Sanford impersonation?
No. Fred Sanford's like, that's more Red Fox. But anyways, but my point that I'm making is this is compelling, guys. Us as wrestling fans, particularly WWE fans, we bitch and complain about not having consistency, not digging deep, not doing layers and layers upon the stories, and we got this. I better never hear nobody bitch and complain at least about this one, because I was the one was a bit of a naysayer. Just when I was kind of done, I was like, all right, man, this is really starting to rub me dry. I'm kind of done. They went and did it again. And so for me, Too Sweet for the week. And then the follow-up on SmackDown. I'm sorry. The way it ended on SmackDown is what I'm saying. A higher level of Jay. The storytelling is great because it's always been about Jay. I've stated that many times, but you saw how he was always holding himself back. People who struggle with anger and popping off, and I know a little bit about that, they trying to hold back and be their better side. When it pops off and the cork has been popped, there's a whole different side. That intense aggression, that laser focus. You see how he did his brother Solo? He didn't hold back at all. So again, great WWE, great writing, everything, and I love it. I just love it. That's my too sweet for the week, guys.
Yeah, I think Roman's going to be an excellent actor, because as I was watching that, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, well, that's pretty interesting. I maybe he's just gonna take some time off and let Jay go ahead and just be the tribal chief. And of course, Lisa's looking at me going, dude, she's about to do exactly what he did, just punch him in the balls. And I was like, wow, I didn't even see that coming. I mean, he got Roman crying and shit. I'm like, dude, wow, this is a sentimental moment. I was fooled. All right, Matt Michaels, let me go to you. What's yours too sweet?
I gotta just piggyback off of it and say that the bloodline, here's the thing. When you look at the way they can do pure entertainment, that's incredible, because we're not talking about the wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about simply a story. There wasn't a fucking wrestling match. You had them open and close
For 35 minutes.
Yeah. Bookend a fucking show with primarily a fucking quarter of it to a third of it being just storytelling.
Right.
Which is just phenomenal. And the way they're setting those seeds, it really does look like the four of them are going to be going for the tribal table, because Solo don't look like he's going to be, backing down from, at some point here in this build, you're going to see Solo's not going to back away from it. So it's just fascinating to see this. Yeah. I also have to give it up for NXT doing Raw Underground the right fucking way. That match was perfectly executed by taking the fucking ropes off the ring, by bringing the lights down, by surrounding the ring with fucking people, and by actually having a shoot style type match mixed, into what these guys do, have them go off the ring and all that shit. It worked. And that's because Eddie Thorpe, he is fucking solid. The guy's Carl's been a fucking worker since day one. If you want to talk about guys who benefited from being in New Japan here in the States, Carl Fredericks,
without a doubt,
absolute 100%.
Yeah, agree. Sin City Steve, man, what did you get?
All right, MJF and Adam Cole, they're doing this odd couple team in the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament, and I've got to say I dig it. MJF is just absolutely over the top. Mimicking Adam Cole's entrance to a T and just being that fucking guy, if you know what I mean. They wrestled the Butcher and Matt Menard, or Magic Meat, if you will. And MJF and Cole won, of course. Cole hit Menard with the boom. After the match, MJF did this whole birthday gimmick for Adam Cole, complete with the cake and the streamers and the kazoos. MJF attempted to throw Cole into his own birthday cake, but it was MJF's face that went into the cake instead. Too sweet to those guys for sure. Speaking of New Japan, Eddie Kingston is your new New Japan Strong Openweight champion after defeating Kenta for the title at New Japan Pro Wrestling Independence Day at Korakuen Hall in Tokyo, Japan. That is fucking amazing for Eddie, and I definitely think he's going to represent AEW and American wrestling well in the G1 Climax, which starts July 15th. So that's starting very, very soon. And then one match from Collision that wasn't part of the Owen Hart tournament was the AEW World Tag Champs FTR versus Bullet Club Gold in an eliminator match. Basically, if Bullet Club Gold wins, they get a title match. If not, they can't ever challenge FTR again for the tag titles. This match was fucking great. They went a half hour, and I'll call it what it is. Michaels, you would probably even appreciate this match. It felt old school Southern tag team wrestling.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, it was pulled off to a fucking T, and Bullet Club Gold picks up the win. And next week, we are getting a best 2 out of 3 falls match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Bullet Club Gold versus FTR. I am fucking there for that shit.
Sign you up twice.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Or 3 times. Fuck it.
Man's gonna have to get himself a pair of white fuzzy slippers.
No, there's a maximum of 1 pair of white fuzzy slippers per show, and Impact up there. Yeah,
I got them.
those are all you. That's your gimmick, man. I can't step on that.
That's my thing.
Gimmick
man.
infringement.
Get your own shoes or hat or something. All right. Let's get into this week's WTF. All right, Matt Michaels, this is you, man. Did you find any WTFs this week?
What do you think? I will start by saying Keith Lee and Swerve are apparently going to continue whatever the fuck this is until their contracts run out. It is the most ridiculously boring, stupid thing in the history of wrestling. And can we just move on? Please, these guys do not have to be married. It's embarrassing. I'm sorry.
Are you saying that jokingly, like married? Are they really doing that?
Well, I mean, at this point, they might as well end it by them getting married, because it just feels like you can't turn one corner without the other being there. It's so fucking stupid. Yeah, I mean, it's so sad that you actually thought that too by me saying it, because
you never know. It's just
you never know.
This is AEW we're talking about. Go ahead.
Who the hell is Matt Menard?
Daddy Magic, bro.
I don't know. There's some things that just still hit me as like, wait, who the fuck is this dude? Yeah, Hobbs. Hobbs is the Black Wardlow at this point. Wow. Because every time you think you're going to get momentum with him, then you fucking move him backwards. It makes no sense at all. And, if he leaves QT or not, does it really fucking matter? Why is that even a thing? It's like, why is that group even being featured? And why is he getting stuck in the shit angle? So give him more. And, the worst thing in pro wrestling, period, is fucking bragging on national TV as commentators that Julia Hart has a 25 straight win streak going. Jesus fucking Christ. That is probably one of the most insulting things I've ever heard mentioned in pro wrestling. 25 straight wins for Julia Hart. I can't even name the one she just won.
So, is a little preposterous.
Oh, it's absurd.
All right, let's go over to you, Sin City, man. What you got?
All right, so the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass beat the Blade and the Bollywood Boys. Yeah, that cohesive unit. What the fuck? To no one's surprise, obviously the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass picked up the win. And, it kills me. These guys at one point were the absolute most overact in your company. And now you are struggling to feature them on your television program. What the fuck is going on with this shit? And now they're in a feud, get this, with QTV. QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, and John Morrison, who's now going by Johnny TV. Her fucking Ray. Elsewhere, this whole blind eliminator tag tournament is evidently so blind that we still don't have brackets. And the fucking shit is going on. The teams appear to just be thrown together the day of the show. It's almost like as if Vince McMahon was booking AEW. What the fuck is going on with this shit? Of course, Cole and MJF are together. We already established that. As are Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy. They've teamed before. Also, JAS members Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara just so happen to be together. And, as has already mentioned, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. What the fuck? Can we just get through this? And then lastly, Wheeler Yuta versus Kenny Omega should not be main eventing your A show.
Great.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but Wheeler is just not at that level yet. He's great in ring, but they need to continue to build him. It was a 12-minute match that, honestly, for all 12 minutes, I never once thought that Yuta would get a flash pin or a surprise victory or anything. Obviously, Omega picked up the win, getting his win back, but still, this in the main event of your marquee show? What the fuck?
Wow. Calling it out. Calling it the way he sees it, Simon Street. What you got?
Well, I'm going to start off first with my ladies. Primarily what we're seeing on SmackDown. This women's three-way, I don't even know what the hell. Asuka, Bianca, pissed off, the Queen, and Lil Io with the briefcase. Man, it's clumsy. It's clumsy. It's clumsy. It's clumsy. It looks like y'all didn't know what the hell you wanted to do. You changed gears, and instead of taking a step back and figuring out a holding pattern, which I would have done, not that I'm an expert, and I think other people think the same way. You could have pulled the trigger on the feud between Bayley and Io to mainstay that A, briefcase check-in, B, you could have the whole Bianca versus Charlotte Flair versus Asuka three-way. We're probably most likely going to get at freaking SummerSlam versus this stuff. Now, that's just my opinion. I'm sure you guys may agree to some extent, and maybe other people as well. The next one, again, on SmackDown. I'm sorry. I don't have any faith in AJ Styles versus Karrion Kross at all. And yes, I'm one of the biggest people.
Neither does the WWE.
This is very, very true. There was no build up, no nothing. And to say the words of Matt Michaels, you got to show the titty first. We didn't even get cleavage shots. It just went straight in there. And it sucks because you have, I think, versatile pieces to where you could do something decent with this if you have proper build-up. So that's one thing. But the next thing is me personally, just a suggestion, and we'll see what happens. So you have Bronson Reed over on Raw with his final words and all that shit, and you got Karrion Kross. Now, I would love to either see two of these guys go at it with each other, less dialogue, just a whole bunch of crazy shit going on. That would be fun to watch. Or it would be even cooler to see them two get together, not agree, but two guys with invested interests of we're tired of being ignored. We're going to take what we want. You could do something like that. Makes much more sense. And don't get me started on, but the draft, fuck the draft. We never followed the rules to the T with the draft at the WWE. Make the shit happen. Bronson Reed, Karrion Kross, two assholes with egos the size of Texas, getting together on an agenda to do what the hell they want to do, and F anybody gets in their way. Thank you. That's my what the fuck.
He said, thank you. Hey, you know what I found funny during the segment with the Bloodline was watching Adam Pearce, the security, the referees all standing off to the side. Wow, Roman is pretty much stepping on Jay, holding the title, and it's like, hey guys, aren't you supposed to be getting over there and trying to stop what's happening? They're just standing there looking. It was weird. You've never seen that before. I had a WTF moment there. Like, what? You're just gonna let Roman do what he do, and then after he walks away, then you go help out Jay and Jimmy. It was funny. But all right, let's move out and see what you guys are looking out for. I mean, Sin City Steve, I'm looking out for Slammiversary, but what are you, my friend, looking out for?
Well, Chris Jericho cut a promo on Dynamite saying what he's been doing lately hasn't been working, and quite frankly, it hasn't. He said that he needed a change. It was a pure babyface promo, and then Don Callis came out. Speaking of, they finally have given Don Callis music, if you want to call it that. It's one low droning note for an infinite amount of time. It's fucking great, and it works. Callis pitched for Jericho to drop the JAS and join the Don Callis family. Jericho said that he had only one word for him, maybe. So could this be the gimmick change that Jericho actually needs? And I know I've said it before on this show, but if Jericho aligns with Callis, then we definitely need to get Jack Perry in that stable as well. Have Callis cut promos for the whole faction except for Jericho. I think you've got a really entertaining dynamic there, and they could make it work. Elsewhere, Blood and Guts is in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks at this point. BCC and the Elite will both have a mystery partner. That match is definitely Destination TV. Every single Blood and Guts match that they've had has been awesome. And it's they got to do it upright. It's going to be their first show at the TD Garden in Boston. So that'll be pretty cool there. And then next week on AEW Dynamite is the debut of 18-year-old Nick Wayne, who's the son of Buddy Wayne, former promoter in the Pacific Northwest. If you've seen Nick on the indies, you know that he's just absolutely electric. And, you know, he's got quite a future ahead of him. And he faces Swerve Strickland, somebody who he's very familiar with and someone who he's wrestled on numerous occasions in those independents in the Pacific Northwest.
So you mean he's going to be Keith Lee's grandkid?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man,
I'm not sure it works like that, but you know.
You can if you want to, man. Keith Lee pretty soon gonna be eating free at the Pancake House pretty soon.
Oh shit.
You never know. Let me ask you, Simon. What do you have that you're looking out for?
Well, you know what I'm looking out for is not so much what, but who. And I would say on this show, I've been pretty somewhat consistent when I've called people that have promise and it comes into fruition. That doesn't mean I'm Dave Meltzer, thank goodness. I wish I could show you the camera. My room is clean. My office is nice. So obviously I'm not working as hard as he is to neglect my cleaning duties. But I will say, NXT, you have Jordan. Kalani Jordan. Sorry, it took me a second. Kalani Jordan. She had a match with Paisley. And this is my first time seeing her. I've heard the name get brought up, never really thought about it. I know she has a gymnastic background, college gymnastics and tumbling background. There's something about her, y'all. She has the athleticism, really good athleticism, extremely good. And she was not uncomfortable on the mic. She was very comfortable. So right now they do have her buddied up with, what's her name? Batista's old girlfriend. Man, I can't think for shit today, y'all. With Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke. And I get that. That's something that they're doing. But she's somebody that if she sticks with the whole program, she's going to be one of the many different women that's coming in the women's division NXT that's going to start seeing trickling up in the main roster. She was just really good. Some of the moves that she did one move, if I could describe it. It was almost like an arm drag, but she used the ring ropes as almost like an inverted inside 619 almost, but it was like an arm drag. And she did it so flawlessly and smooth. And again, you know, we see a more athletic side from a lot of these women. We've seen with Sol Ruka, obviously she's injured, but you know, and a lot of more other people is more athletic. So I'm glad to see that. So that's what I'm looking for. And other than that, I am looking to kind of make fun just a little bit because we did talk about it. The tag team from NXT. You know what we're talking about. The Party Girls, right? They made their splash and they look good. They look really good. Katniss and Carter. They're somebody that I think is a good staple in the women's tag team division. We've talked about the problems that's happened in the women's tag team division with WWE. At least that's a stable that you can have. There's somebody that you can have them hold the title. It's tight. They're good with it, right? They're somewhat entertaining. You can have them hold it for a while you figure out what the hell you can do. So those are the two things that I'm looking forward to, guys.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of Chance and Carter. I'm really trying. I'm giving my all. And every time from the moment they walk out, I'm like, oh, God, they're annoying me, you know, but
they're an established tag team though. So at least they're a tag team.
No, I get you. No. Yeah. You know, yeah, I feel you there. Matt Michaels, what you looking out for?
Yeah. I mean, you can put two turds together. It's still shit. So I'm just saying.
If you have Dave Meltzer present it, the two pieces of shit together would be holy shit.
Well, hey, listen, if
5 stars.
Meltzer, yeah, exactly. If Meltzer got a hold
5-star
of it,
shit.
5 stars.
if it was in the Tokyo Dome, it would be 5-star shit. Shayna versus Ronda, I think, is going to actually just catapult Shayna. That fucking promo she did, best promo she's ever done. And using the realistic aspect of the fact that Ronda didn't pay dues was fucking fabulous. Ricochet calling out Logan Paul. I am very interested to see what the hell happens on Monday. Again, raise your fucking profile if you're Ricochet by working with Paul. I think that's brilliant. And it gives Ricochet something to do where he's not just, coming out and just kind of getting thrown, into matches for no reason. So that's pretty sweet. And I'm looking forward to the Creed brothers getting called up because now that they can't be in NXT anymore, apparently. And I swear that was actually one of the best things they did this week is from everything that's been out there and, the idea that that Schism, that the tag team wanted out and etc. It just was surprising to see the Creed brothers lose that match. And now, you're talking about tag divisions. Now the guys tag division on the main roster can get a little more solid with, what you're looking at them doing right now. That's pretty deadly. That's what I got to say.
Pretty deadly. Ooh.
Hey, happy birthday, Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
From Charmaine Marie.
Yeah. Kevin Nash.
And Logan Paul is engaged. He just got engaged to his longtime girlfriend.
And the FTC or the FDC is investigating Prime Energy drinks.
Yep.
Remember the shit? Remember the shit I was giving?
Quite a lot going on.
Yeah.
Quite a lot going on for Mr. Logan Paul right now.
But I have to give some quick clarification. That's only for the energy drinks, not for the shit my son drinks, the hydration one.
Fuck your kid. Give me some more information about this because some of us use that shit very often.
Oh, the Prime Energy drinks? They're saying there's way more caffeine than what's being in other energy drinks, and they're not putting it. So it's one of those things. Like they didn't really.
It's just labeling.
Oh. Yeah, it's mostly label. It's just something to poke and tease. That's all.
Yeah. And by the way, Jim, just to let you know, I'm still waiting for Shayna to put that leather jacket on. When that leather jacket comes on, I'm fired up because that's when I get to have heel, mean, pissed off, beaten down Shayna. That's what I'm looking for. Right now, she's gonna be the fun Shayna, the face Shayna. I want the pissed off. I want to see that Dakota Kai, which, I know she's not around right now, but running and hiding when she sees Shayna walking in the back. That's what I want to see.
Can I have one request, though? One request. If she's going to be this badass leather jacket, victimized, brutalized, and skinny bitches of the world, can we have her walk slower on her entrance? I want her to walk methodically slower. I'm taking my time to get there, build up here, and break some shit. That's all I'm asking for.
I feel you there. All right. Let's see what is the best of the show for you guys this week. Let's see here. All right. Simon Street, I know this is going to be tough for you, man, but you got to tell me, what was the show for the week for you this week?
Well, it was pretty tough, but I will say that in close skin teeth between a tie between SmackDown and Raw, I have to give the edge to SmackDown. And that is because of the compelling story of the bloodline, as to echo the sentiment of Matt Michaels, from bookend to bookend. That is a thing of freaking beauty. Like I said earlier, the whole mix up between the three ladies and the cash case was probably the downside of that whole thing, and the lackluster of AJ Styles and Cross. but everything else was spot on. I mean, just, you know, I mean, and again, I'm going to go in and say again, that Waller and Edge match was quality match. It was a quality match. So again, you had good quality match. You had a compelling story from start to end. So SmackDown definitely rose to the occasion.
Yeah.
But not to take away from Raw. The focus wasn't what this week coming in from Money in the Bank was more on the fallout from the Bloodline Civil War. So Raw really did really good with utilizing what they had and putting focus and making us give a shit about what's going on. So there you go. That's my take, guys.
Absolutely. All right. Let me go over to you, Matt Michaels. What was the show of the week for you?
I'll go with Raw. Because of the fact that SmackDown had the biggest story plot, right? And they didn't do anything with them on Raw this week, which is something they've been doing constantly. So Raw, didn't have an Usos or Solo involved. So it was great to see that they could use Seth in the way they did. They could set up some angles going forward, like I said, with Judgment Day, and for a 3-hour show, it's interesting how much better it's gotten to where Raw was a show that was a half an hour watchable. And now it's, exceedingly getting more and more watchable. And the numbers, it seems like more people are starting to kind of get back into watching Raw because of that.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Sin City, man. What hit your best in show this week?
That would be AEW Collision.
Okay.
Yes. So, I think
you're the guy who watched it.
I know, right? Realistically, though, the two shows definitely have a different kind of a juxtaposition. Dynamite is just crash TV, boom, 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 boom for 2 hours. Collision seems to be more of an old school type of a show. They might only have 4 matches on the entire show. They're going to let the segments breathe. So I think that the execution this week was better on Collision. I do have to give a shout out to New Japan, though, for Independence Day, their 2-night pay-per-view. I mentioned it earlier, but I guess that we also found out that there was a reason why Jon Moxley hasn't been bleeding in his matches, because he was saving it all up for his spot with Jun Kasai and the Skewers. Yeah, I guess so.
He looked like fucking Enzo if you look at the picture.
I didn't even think of that, but yeah, that's fucking funny. Yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just look it up online. Jon Moxley skewer. Yeah, he did the fabled Jun Kasai spot where there's a handful of skewers into the forehead. Crazy shit.
Yeah.
And who better to do that to him than Jun Kasai?
Of course. Well, there you go. As we're coming to an end with Wrestling Talk, we're going to be jumping over to 3 count pretty soon. And what do you know? Our first count is going to be talking about Jon Moxley and his defense on his blood, just using all the time in every show. So we're going to talk about that and see if he got a really good excuse for that. We also going to talk about Tommy Dreamer here. And he says he has there's some weird interaction with pro wrestling fans. So let's see what he's talking about. And Gunther, what he has done with the Intercontinental Championship. We definitely want to talk about that as well. If you are live with us now, make sure you are following us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook Live. So when we go live, we'll be able to jump right back on and join us in the conversation. But if you do happen to just listen to us on podcast, we thank you for downloading the podcast. We're available on every platform that is there. So make sure if you don't watch us live, you at least download the podcast and listen.
What is he doing with the belt? I mean, he is German. Is he like taking videos of him crapping on the belt, or?
No. If there was a Hall of Fame for the shit that's gone on belts, on videos, we would have to present that award to somebody over at AEW. I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Anyway, there you go. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.